Thank you so much. First of all, say a big thank you. Say a big thank you to Mr. Femi Odubemi for this opportunity. I'd like to say hello to Uncle Francis Onwuche, who happened to be one of my egbons whose shoulders I stood on as a teenager in University of Lagos studying creative arts. And I had the opportunity of sharing a stage with him and then seeing him continue with Theatre for Social Transformation is quite inspiring, and I respect and acknowledge you. Thank you so much. To your question, no. However, I have been exposed to quite a number of people who have constantly used performing arts for social transformation. Whilst I was in university, I had the opportunity to work with directors like Felix Okoro, whose stage plays were usually stage plays reflect of what was going on in society. I had the opportunity of being on a similar stage with Uncle Francis Onwuche for a performance called Mekunu Melody. And so I also had the opportunity of working in the development space. Still, I'm working in the development space for many years. And that has exposed me to communication for development. So this is an ongoing trend. And even my university years, my last thesis was on epic theater. And the last line that I wrote was, I do not believe in art for art's sake. I believe in art for social transformation. And I graduated over 20 years ago, and I'm more or less manifesting what my belief system was then. If I'm given the opportunity to share my screen, I would like to share some.
Let her be able to share our screen, please. Or your bio, your profile in the chat room, so anybody who wants to read it can read, so that you know the pedigree of the person we're talking to. So Rita, you can now share your screen.
All right. Share your screen. Thank you so much. Give me a second. All right, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your time. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Let me make sure that I can share sound. Okay.
You can see the screen. Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Before I start my presentation, I'd like to share a 2-minute video with you all. It gives a snippet into what Street Project Foundation is about and what we do.
theater and radio could be the catalysts for change in Nigeria. Art for Social Transformation believes creative art is a vehicle to confront gender inequalities, xenophobia, and violent extremism. By creating a safe space called Reflection Sessions, where young creatives from over 200 ethnic groups are invited to talk freely about issues that threaten them. The program empowers them to share real-life experiences free from judgment. These stories are the basis for the scripts that the project develops, which are turned into theater performances and radio drama series on issues focusing on diversity, inclusion, human rights, and social justice during a 6-week workshop. Art is used as a tool for building a movement where experiences free from judgment. These stories are the basis for the scripts that the project develops, which are turned into theater performances and radio drama series on issues focusing on diversity, inclusion, human rights, and social justice during a 6-week workshop. Art is used as a tool for building a movement where pluralism and global citizenship thrive. It presents young people with a platform to take a stand and move the needle on social issues in Nigeria.
As mentioned earlier, my name is Rita Ezenwa Okoro, and I am a creative culturist, performance activist, communications expert, grassroots creative organizer, and the founder and lead visionary of Street Project Foundation. I'll be sharing with you what Street Project Foundation has done in the last 15 years of working with the underserved, using creative arts as a tool. For 15 years, we have experimented and explored how the creative arts can facilitate young people's leadership development, fostering social cohesion, co-creation, and cross-cultural dialogue in a complex country like Nigeria. In this presentation as well, I will share grass to grace stories of underserved youth who, through our interventions, have locally become leaders. I'll share video snippets of their work and a short film, 8 minutes long, titled I No Be Thief, created by our youth community, the Street Project Ambassadors. Borrowing from the lines of a popular film, Sound of Music, I'll start from the very beginning. I think it's a very good place to start. Festac Town was where it all started for me. For those who do not know about Festac Town, it is a housing estate located in Lagos, Nigeria's Amuwo-Odofin local government area. Fifth Avenue, M Close, Festac Town was where I spent a significant part of my adolescent and teenage years. Festac Village or Festival Town was the town's initial name. It was an estate developed by the federal government of Nigeria to host 45,000 visitors to the second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture in 1977. The town's name is an acronym for the World Festival, which brought together notable musicians like Miriam Makeba from South Africa, Stevie Wonder from the United States of America, Gilberto Gil from Brazil, Mighty Sparrow from Trinidad and Tobago, Sir Victor Waifo from Nigeria, and many more. When I learned about this history, I was a little girl living on land that housed over 17,000 participants during that 1-month festival. As a result of the festival, they built the National Arts Theatre and established the National Council for Arts and Culture, a solid infrastructure for the creative development of Nigeria, don't you think? As such, my earliest memory of my engagement with the creative arts was as a 5-year-old joining other kids in the M Close community to rehearse cultural dances from the 3 major ethnic groups in Nigeria, Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. We also created stage plays and performed before our parents at the end of year close parties, synonymous with what some people would call block parties. Thanks to our mothers, we got Ankara fabrics that we called wrappers and tied them around our chests. We also made pleated skirts using George wrappers, a beautifully crafted, handmade, designer beaded fabric. My early exposure to the creative arts was the beginning of my performance of youth development with creative arts at its core. In hindsight, I realized that this rich experience for a city girl like me made an impression on my subconscious. Many years later, this subconscious programming fueled my passion for using creative arts to facilitate opportunities for youth leadership development, social mobilization, and cross-cultural dialogue. And the Street Project Foundation was established. This was in 2008, when arts were not celebrated as it is today. Our physical representation of the arts, the National Arts Theatre, dilapidated and obviously underfunded creative arts-led programs were what existed. The premise upon which Street Project Foundation exists is that when we can raise a critical mass of young transformational creative leaders who sustainably do what they love, Nigeria will be a better place. The world will be a better place to live. Having a first-hand experience of how the arts sharpened my soft skills in critical thinking through improvisation, public speaking, through theatrical performances, confidence, and team building through dance and oratory, I believed that in like manner, much at-risk and underserved youth from disadvantaged communities in Nigeria also had to explore the improvisational, experimental, experiential, performatory, playful, philosophical, and probing spectrum of the creative arts for human development. At Street Project Foundation, we've designed notable programs like the Creative Youth Bootcamp. You can see some of their symbols there. The Creative Youth Bootcamp, Arts Vocacy, Digital Amazons, and many more, specifically designed for the economic, social, and mental development of underserved youth in Nigeria. So I'll start with the Creative Youth Bootcamp. The Creative Youth Bootcamp Art for Social Transformation is a United Nations and BMW Group award-winning 6-week non-residential gathering of creative youths gifted in music, dance, drama, visual arts, poetry, spoken word, and other performatory endeavors. The essence of the boot camp is to bring together youths from diverse backgrounds in Nigeria who have one thing in common: their love for the creative arts. So they get to co-create the Nigeria they want to see through a collection of immersive stories, total theater performances, short films made from mobile phones, and exhibitions of recycled and upcycled works of art. After the boot camp, they are matched with mentors, placed on internships, and exposed to scholarships, fellowships, and grants that can serve as stepping stones to a brighter future. Through the support of the United States Consulate, Voice in Nigeria, the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations, UNAOC, and the BMW Group, we've been able to organize this program over the years. Arts Vocacy is another 6-week non-residential convening of creative youths in different genres of the art who learn community organizing and movement building. This fiery passion of youths involved in the fiery passion of youths involved in the NSARS movement inspired the creation of this initiative. The need to strengthen the voices of the youth, which were being suppressed on the streets. The program enables them to create structures necessary for mobilizing themselves by using their creative art forms to advocate for social issues plaguing them in the country. Organizing an active community of youth, called Artvocates presents the opportunity for co-creation and coexistence with youths from diverse backgrounds. We have activated this movement in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the city of Enugu, and most recently, the city of Lagos. And we got the opportunity to stage a play titled Kala at Freedom Park. So we're really excited about that activation. And this has happened because of the support of Voice in Nigeria, a program of the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a fund managed by Oxfam in Nigeria, Caribou Foundation in Oslo, Norway, and Moleskine Foundation in Italy. 25 youths are activated as leaders of this movement. They then recruit many more to join the movement, meeting monthly and organizing themselves to influence culture and community-based programs and to influence culture and government to boost their economy. Our goal is to ignite the fire across all the country's cities. Last but not the least of the programs that we run is Digital Amazons. Digital Amazons is one of the initiatives created to increase the number of female creatives in the digital space. Since its launch in 2019, almost 230 female creatives have been trained in photography, graphics design, video editing, storytelling, digital marketing, and enterprise development. And 50% of them have been placed in jobs where they earn 5 to 6 figure salaries monthly. This program has been run in collaboration with the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria's Committee of Women in Advertising, with support from organizations such as World Connect New York, Free Fund Managed Funds, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, and the United States Africa Development Foundation, USADF, and GIZ. That being said, it is one thing to run these programs, and another thing to evaluate their impact. I'll be sharing the transformational stories of 5 Street Project Foundation ambassadors who, after our intervention, have become transformational leaders in their own rights. So let's see the stories of the underserved. I'm going to be talking about Josh Too Funny, whose original name is Josh Alfred. But many young people who follow on social media know him as Just Too Funny. We also have Pelemo Nyajo, Sunday Ozegbe, popularly known as Value, Deborah Johnson, and James Okewo, popularly known as Marge Jamie. We met Josh Too Alfred, now known as Josh Too Funny, on the streets of Lagos. This was at the time when we often went to the streets to scout for talents randomly through our talent hunt competition, then called Project Roar. He was shortlisted, made to undergo performance training before the competition, and emerged as the best talent in the comedy category. Then he was known as MC Osuji. After winning, we matched him up with Kofi the Guru as a mentor. What was meant to be a one-year mentoring program turned into a lifetime of mentorship. As it began to evolve, Street Project Foundation collaborated with Q Dance Center in a program known as Madhouse. There, he was exposed to the power of co-creation. A dancer paired with a violinist, comedy dance acts paired with poets. This exposure triggered the beginning of unique comedy skits on social media. Today, Josh Too Funny is known all over the world for characters such as Madam. For characters like Mama Felicia, Up to Nunu, and skits like The Audition and many more. He's also the convener of Josh Too Funny, All of Me Live. The next person is Pelemo Nyajo, who was born with a bow leg, a medical condition called fibrous dysplasia. And she grew up feeling excluded from everything. Her bones were brittle from birth. And even with corrective surgery, she had to walk around with visible metals inserted in her legs. She lacked the confidence to raise her voice against the social ills she faced in society as a person with a disability. Being socially excluded from her peers caused her to develop mental health challenges and live a life of seclusion. However, following her exposure to the award-winning Creative Youth Boot Camp, Pelemo discovered and groomed her talent in spoken word poetry.
Interactive session. So when I say my people, you say waiting happen. Can everybody do that for me? Yes. Can everybody do that for me? Yes. My people, waiting happen. My people, waiting happen. After I heard of the snake that swallowed millions of naira, I didn't believe that there would be any greater show of tragicomedy in Nigeria. Nollywood hasn't failed, neither have the producers of Nigerian news, but obviously they have a superior. And that is the Nigerian government. Or should I say, the government of UAR. And they are at it again, teaching us that being born into Africa's giant means war. Our bodies were crafted as defense in the fences of our mother's wombs. If there is anything that the human body is good at, it is adaptation. And Nigerians are pros. We have learned to die and resurrect after the wilting of our bones, make dead skeletons weapons for war zones, paint pain and humor. And they want to take that away from us too. I guess it is a Nigerian art to tie tongues along to losing the knots of bondage. If you doubt me, let's think back to the massacre at Lekki 208. How could we hear that youths were put to death holding the Nigerian flag, upholding their own nation, their nation, put them 6 feet under youth? That's what revolution brings them. Indeed, we are making history.
I'm glad to say that Pelemo Nyajo now represents the youth of Nigeria as an advisor at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Netherlands, earning a living in foreign currency. The next person is Sunday Ozegbe, popularly known as Value. In 2016, he was admitted to our very first Creative Youth Boot Camp. This young man from the streets of Oworonshoki loved to dance, and through our intervention was exposed to how the arts can be used for social transformation. His consistency and persistence in this field have paid off as he runs community-based programs for developing Oworonshoki. His dance troupe Innovates danced in a puddle of dirty water accumulated due to the pothole on a particular road in Oworo. Following the awareness created through this dance performance that went viral on social media, the road was fixed. Value continues to take at-risk youth off the streets through his dance troupe, raising awareness about social issues like the environment. Here's a clip of a dance that speaks against plastic waste and also advocates for the environment. glad to say that Value now tours the world for residencies and for stage performances too, and we're very proud of his achievements. In 2020, a teenager called Deborah Johnson was admitted into one of our programs. A gifted spoken word poet with a capacity for impressions in 13 different accents. During our reflection sessions, it was evident that she was suicidal. She was struggling with depression that wasn't managed with care and compassion at home. It was a battle of discovering herself, but she quickly learned that she could not win this battle in isolation. During the pandemic, we continued online engagement, ensuring she co-created video content with her peers. She got the opportunity to participate in the Brave New Voices Poetry Slam, organized by Youth Speaks in San Francisco, USA, for 2 years in a row. This exposure to other poets across the world further gave her a sense of purpose and confidence to pursue her passions. 2 years later, Deborah Johnson won 2 Grand Slams in Lagos, Nigeria, and Abuja, respectively, and now is constantly being engaged to perform before leaders in government and for development programs across the country. We're also very proud of her achievements. Last but not the least, James Okoro, fondly called Mad Jamie, became a street project ambassador in 2020. Yes, the year of the pandemic as well. A multi-talented young man who was enthusiastic about mobile phone filmmaking, alongside his talent in music and spoken word poetry. Despite being the son of a police officer, losing his mother and unable to finish school due to economic limitations, Jamie was involved in the EndSARS protest and has worked with other street project ambassadors to tell their stories through music videos and short films. Jamie is currently a staff of Street Project Foundation and serves as its community engagement and media officer. We're going to share with you a short film titled I No Be Thief, directed by Jamie and performed by Street Project Foundation ambassadors based in Enugu, Nigeria. Do enjoy the film.
Boy, So now this thing where you thief, you make them one kill.
Okay, I beg. I thief, but I no be thief. I beg. I tell God beg una. I thief, but I no be thief. Okay, I beg.
I know that, sir. I know that, sir. What happen? Tell me now.
I no be thief. I swear to God, I no be thief. Now, which one I no get? If I no do this thing, what they do now? They fit kill me, kill my mama dey for village. I beg. I tell God beg una. I beg.
Wait, see, who be kill you? Who be that?
Na my oga. I beg. I no get option. Now this na the only thing what I fit do. I beg.
Who be your oga?
My oga na Dr. Ajulo.
Who be Dr. Ajulo?
He can't carry me from my mama when I did 10 years from village. Say he go make my life better pass people dey for village. But since I come this place, na different thing I dey see. If they carry us, they go steal. If you steal finish, you go sell it, go too. Any day we will come back house without money, he go won't kill us because say we no do anything for him.
No worry, see what thing go happen, You carry us go that Dr. Ajulo house.
No, that man they too powerful. I beg. That man get money, he get money, I beg. He go just kill me. I beg.
Say they don't kill you finish for good, not even save you.
Okay, I beg, that man was pass, I beg.
He no go kill you, you there with us now.
The police is your
If
friend.
you want, him, wait, cool down, you carry us going out. Him no go see you.
Simple.
Sure you want to see your mama?
I just want to go back village, I don't want to find money again, I just want to go see my mama. If you get too much connection, you go still find me, kill me, I beg. I just want to go back village.
Don't worry, the police is your friend. No worry. Now my oga they tell you.
Oh boy, relax. Relax. You there with us. Believe us. Relax.
Okay, sir.
Relax. Just relax. Carry us go a place. No issue. You no go see you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Officer.
What's it to you?
Officer, how body now?
What's everywhere good? That's what I go do now. Because you don't chop coffee. Because we get everything so this afternoon, As we did patrol, me and my team, but this one of your consignment tonight is almost finish up. You mean this young man waiting for you? They tell you, boss. Did you get? Now him come confirm, say him na your. You understand? Say your boy him be. He say no we carry am come give you. You don't get high to pay now. You don't see what you would see for this business. So these boys are so ungrateful. Of everything what they do for them. Just imagine. And see, officers, I save these boys from the darkness of their villages. I bring them to the come show them light. But still they pay me back with evil, with bad things. Officer, replacing this kind of thing. Anyway, shall you do well. Anyhow, I will still see you understand that. Reason we not for you. By God, I believe you. Come on, young man, come on. You want to implicate me, Abi?
I beg, Oga.
You want to implicate me? You want to implicate me?
It's not bad.
Shut up! You think you can escape?
No, sir.
You think you can escape?
I beg, no beg.
I'm sorry to say this, but there's no escape route from here.
I beg, sir, no.
This is what we were born to become. A thief! And my thief!
I beg.
And that is what you will be remain.
Oga! Excuse me!
Idiot! Stop it, boy!
Run! Run! Run!
You think you can run away from me, Abby? After everything I've done for you, I brought you to the city and showed you how to survive. And this is how you pay me back. I told you there's no escape route from here. You cannot run, you cannot hide from your destiny. You were born to be a thief, my thief, stupid boy.
So this is the power of the creative arts, the power of film, the power of theater, the power of the organization Street Project Foundation, being able to mobilize and organize young people to tell their stories as it is. And I'm very proud of the Street Project ambassadors in Enugu who shared their own stories about, forced labor that happens in the East. I trust that this was thought-provoking. It's important to note that investment in developing creative and cultural youth centers for social transformation is very scarce. The presence of programs designed by Street Project Foundation amidst these limitations has been a catalyst for youth development and amplification of the voices of the underserved in Nigeria. Cultivating a society using creative art stimulates a culture that transforms the negative narrative about Nigeria and Nigerians. We become culture creators and not just adopters of culture. Street Project Foundation continues to use the arts to foster inclusivity, pluralism, social cohesion in a complex society like Nigeria, ravaged by poverty and insecurity. In my book, Doing, Being, Becoming for the Love of the Creative Arts, published by New Degree Press, Washington, D.C., it chronicles my journey as a grassroots creative youth organizer in Nigeria. It is inspirational and political. It has many personal, memorable stories from my work that inspired me. Each chapter of the book ends with a creative exercise that you can engage with your youth groups. By exploring the exercises in my book, people will realize the power of the creative arts as an innovative social tool for development. My book is available on Amazon and other online platforms where books can be bought. And you can go to the website on the screen as well. It's available in paperback and ebook. Your question then might be, it's been 15 years. What next? What are the lessons that we've learned? I'd say that the underserved need well-equipped spaces at the community level for constant exposure. If we looked at Lagos alone, how many local government areas do we have? And how many viable community centers, art centers do we have that can actually serve just Lagos State? Now let's talk about the entire Nigeria and how there is a dearth of creative arts centers, community arts centers, where at community level we can engage with young people and they have spaces where they can share their stories, where we can amplify their voices, and then get to appreciate, the creative arts on a much deeper level. We also are focused on implementing the activation of the arts advocacy movement across many other cities in the country. I am open to discussing our vision with anyone interested as well. You can support Street Project Foundation in 3 ways. Follow us across our social media platforms. You can partner with us by working with us to design cross-cultural programs amongst our youth, and also in the building of community art centers, which is big on our agenda. You can make a donation by going to our website. You can also follow me on these platforms as well. I want to say a big thank you again to IREP, a big thank you to the organizers of this and the opportunity to be able to share Street Project Foundation's 15-year journey in using the creative arts for social transformation. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you very much, Rita. In fact, I was struggling to come in because I shared the expressions of some of our guests in the room. Dr. Tosin Chume, who said, gripping, well done. That's exactly what I wanted to say too. And a lot of positive comment there that people have made, but because we also want them to engage with the project. So please, anybody who has a question or a comment can come in and ask the question. You can raise your hand or you can ask the question directly. Just unmute and ask the question, but make it very short, please. Okay, Dr. Edmond Onwuliri, his hand is up. Can you unmute yourself, please? Please unmute yourself.
I have done that, sir. Can I go ahead with Okay, thank you very much, Oga Jaman. I'm still working at becoming the doctor. Thank you for the prophecy. We trust God that it will happen before long. I want to thank immensely our last presenter. Thank you very much for this very inspiring presentation. I am glad that creatives are doing this for themselves and by themselves. And that is what I will call trying to make the making of the practice of the arts sustainable. I believe that has been the challenge for a very long time. How do we make the practice? How do we make creatives, have the right ecosystem to practice and actually make a good living, from their God-given talents within the space that is available to them. First and foremost, I see what you're doing as a very clear and commendable step in that direction. So I want to appreciate the efforts that you are making. But I'm curious, I want to find out, have you enjoyed or received any form of assistance from public organization, government particularly? Have you received any form of assistance? Because I heard you mention all the organizations that have collaborated with your group, and I'm not sure whether I had any public organization within the Nigerian space that has assisted or worked with you? I'm just curious. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edmond, for that question.
Let's take the second question and maybe a third one, then you answer them together because we have less than 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
Otatane Oso, 2 White Andrew. Please, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so it's a nice initiative, but my question is where you mentioned Festac, maybe that would be your headquarters. Aside from Festac, do you have like another office on the island around Lekki, VI or Aja area? That's my question. Did you get me?
Get your question. We had the Lekki Aja where they are doing.
I got his question. I got his question. It's fine. Do we want to take another question?
Did you get the question?
Yes, I got the question. I can't hear you anymore.
You can proceed with the answer now.
Okay, awesome. So I would answer the last question first. When I was mentioning Festac, I was talking about my history and where it all started from. Street Project is present in Ikeja, Lagos. We have our office in Ikeja, Lagos. We have another office in Abuja, and then we have another office in Enugu, Independence Layout. So we're present currently in these 3 locations. And our goal is really to take on a national outlook. We believe that that's what's important. And speaking to the first question about government support, the support that we have received in recent times have been for our Digital Amazons project, and it's been specifically from the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. When we also started our Creative Youth Boot Camp, we got a limited support from the Ministry of Employment, the Lagos State Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment, in terms, and also the youth development. We're able to get a space that we used for, I think, our 2017 edition. However, it's been abysmal considering how much work that there is to be done. And really what I'm pushing for at government level is that the government needs to commit to creating and providing opportunities for the management of community centers. I know that there are community centers in Lagos, but quite a number of them have been transformed into something else and are not being used for what they should be used for. In other states, they are non-existent. So I really think that the first step is to have infrastructure. And by so doing, we do not have that support. One of the reasons I wrote my book is also down to the fact that a lot of the resources that we have generated to run our programs are coming from outside of the country. You know, we try as much as possible to invite government officials to our programs. They come, they say you are doing a good job, but doing a good job and words of encouragement and clapping of hands would not be able to sustain the work that we do. So we definitely need more support from ourselves, even from our corporate organizations, to be able to support social causes like this, where the profit is social and not financial, but in the long run would be profitable, because with the arts, you're strengthening the capacity subconsciously, unconsciously. I call it the not knowing growing. You're strengthening the capacity of the underserved. And what that means, there will be a trickle down effect as a result of that capacity building by creating an environment where creative arts thrives. And so we need more support for sure, Edmund.
Comment, because we have just 4 minutes left before we go to the financial inclusivity. Any question or comment, or we just thank Rita, Ezenwa, Okoro, and you can still engage her with a question in the chat room. Any comment or question in the last 4 minutes? Anybody? Okay. Not your last word. Let me just say, can you just give a closing remarks?
Oh my, okay. Okay. Quite a number of our street project ambassadors, I see them in the chat and they are saying hello. You might be seeing a lot of emojis going on. And I think it's one of the benefits of working with young blood. And they are the driving force of Street Project Foundation. Without them, we can't keep going. And right now, our goal is to replicate what we are doing everywhere across the country. And like I mentioned, what I'm advocating for more and more and more is establishments of community arts centers in every local government, in every state of this nation. I really think that if we can flood our cities and our states, an entire country with community arts centers that are functional, not only do we create development for our young people, but also jobs. We have quite a number of young people who are graduating from the creative arts department, theater arts department. And one of the questions, which I did, I'm a pioneer student of the creative arts department of University of Lagos, and I acknowledge the presence of my professor, Professor Duroni, who's here. And one of the questions I asked myself when I was coming out of school was like, what next? What am I going to do? What opportunities lie ahead? And many young people who want to develop a career in the creative arts and who don't necessarily want to be in front of a screen, but do something that is transformational. I think that by creating infrastructure that allows for our artists to live sustainable lives and keep dreaming and keep playing with concepts and ideas, that we constantly create new approaches to solving Nigeria's problems and the world's problem at large. So I want to say thank you to Uncle Femi Odugbemi, thank you, German, and thank you to the entire team of IREP for giving me the opportunity, and Street Project the opportunity to share our story with you all. Thank you.